Okay, so enter these two fine people, Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler from Stranger Things, who at this point are probably known for being two of the most useless characters in the history of TV, where at this point, this guy is just a complete and total meme, and whenever they give this actress a storyline that's interesting, it involves her trying to bang a teenager or having an addiction to wine. But this season, they were actually useful. They did have a point, but there is a question fans are debating, and that's, should these guys have been killed off? And explaining this, it all goes back to Millie Bobby Brown and Noah Schnapp, who are kind of the dynamic duo at this point, where they're best friends and also doing a lot of interviews together. And they have actually said before that they complained after the fourth season of Stranger Things publicly that they don't feel enough characters are dying. That's because when you look at Stranger Things, there really haven't been any multi-season characters that have died, with the biggest sample being David Harbour, who plays Hop, where a lot of people thought his character was killed after season 3, but then they revealed very quickly after that no, he's alive. And also Millie Bobby Brown said there was no suspense on set with this character actually dying because everyone knew he was signed for season 4, scheduled, and they knew he was going to be a big role. Instead, what Stranger Things tries to do is they create these character for one season, really build that character up, but then have that character killed off. And we've seen that pretty much every season so far with Barb, Bob the Brain, this guy right here, and also, of course, Eddie Munson. It's honestly so predictable at this point which character is going to die. I'm actually convinced this character right here, Argyle, played by Roberto Franken, was purely introduced so people would think he would die, not Joseph Quinn. And when you really think about it, it makes sense because in season 4, his character is kind of useless, and then in season 5, he's written out entirely. Right after season 4 came out, Millie Bobby Brown and Noah Schnapp in numerous interviews said they wanted more characters to be killed off to the point like half the cast would die in season 5, but they were shut down on that pretty quickly. That idea was shut down by the Duffer Brothers, who created Stranger Things, where after hearing Millie Bobby Brown and Noah Schnapp say they wanted more characters to die, they responded saying that's definitely not going to happen because this is Hawkins, not Westeros. The reason the Duffer Brothers feel that way is because of this character right here, Barb from season 1, where a lot of people weren't happy this character got killed off so suddenly and there was really no aftermath to it. There's a hashtag and even an entire Jimmy Fallon skit with the actual main cast of Stranger Things called Justice for Barb. The reason the Duffer Brothers felt people reacted so strongly to the Justice for Barb thing was because unlike these other shows like Game of Thrones, which are set in a fantasy world, or The Walking Dead, which is set in the apocalypse, Stranger Things is very different. That's because it's set in our world where if somebody dies, there is going to be consequence. There is going to be media talking about it. There is going to be investigation. And that's why in season 2, they wrote it so Barb did have some sort of justice and concluding story arc. For season 5, a lot of people wanted the Wheeler parents to die, saying it would raise the stakes for the season and create some added tension when it came to the kids' characters, where now they don't have parents, but the real question is why? That's because there's already enough tension going on. People have died. There's a girl in a coma. A little girl just disappeared. So why just add to it by having these two characters that really haven't even been developed that well, just having them randomly die? I think that's because so many people watch Walking Dead and Game of Thrones where people are dying every episode and they want that for Stranger Things, but I don't think they realize death has kind of become lazy writing at this point, where people are watching these shows just to see who dies, but they're not actually watching them to see progress and story and see who lives. I'm really glad these guys got to live, and with that, I'm Charles Pearl. Subscribe to learn something.